My entire life has been devoted to studying the cosmos, charting the invisible threads that weave space and time together, yet nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared me for NASA's discovery from 3 weeks ago, when 3 Atlas altered its trajectory mid-flight and started transmitting something directly toward Earth. Before we proceed, there's something I need from you. Drop your city name in the comments below and tell me, have you observed anything unusual in the night sky lately? Peculiar lights, patterns that don't behave like satellites. NASA is discreetly gathering civilian reports, and what you've observed could be the missing piece. Do it right now. What I'm about to reveal may transform how you perceive humanity's place in the universe. My name is Michio Kaku, and for decades I've stood at the crossroads of theoretical physics and cosmology. I've always believed that when we finally establish contact with extraterrestrial intelligence, it would be a celebratory moment. I was mistaken. What 3 Atlas has transmitted isn't a greeting, it's a warning, and the more we interpret it, the more I understand we may have already crossed a threshold we were never supposed to approach. Let me bring you back to October 2019. That's when astronomers initially detected 3 IATALS, an interstellar object, the third of its kind ever observed entering our solar system. Unlike asteroids or comets originating within our celestial neighborhood, this object arrived from beyond, from the space-separating stars, from a place where the rules we comprehend begin to dissolve into something far stranger. Initially, it appeared unremarkable, a fragment of primordial ice and rock drifting through the void for millions of years, traversing our system like a ghost through a wall. We cataloged it. We tracked its trajectory, and then, like responsible scientists, we moved forward. But 3 Atlas didn't move forward. In March of this year, something occurred that demolished every model we possessed. The object decelerated not gradually, as if captured in a gravitational field, but sharply, deliberately, as if something within it had awakened. Then it altered course. It adjusted its velocity with a precision that defies natural explanation. And then, for precisely 47 seconds, it transmitted a signal so powerful that every radio telescope on Earth capable of receiving it went into overdrive. I was in my office at City College of New York when the call came through. It was a colleague from the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, someone I've known for 30 years, and I could detect something in his voice I had never detected before. Fear. He informed me they needed theoretical physicists, linguists, AI specialists, and military advisors in the same room within 6 hours. That's when I understood this wasn't about science anymore. This was about survival. The signal wasn't random noise. It wasn't the kind of cosmic static we've been analyzing with SETI for half a century. This was structured, layered, recursive. It incorporated mathematical constants. Pi, the golden ratio, the fine structure constant, but embedded within frameworks we don't yet have names for. Imagine receiving a message written in a language you've never encountered, but recognizing your own name spelled out in the margins. That's what this represented. It knew we were listening. It knew we would comprehend just enough to be terrified. Within 72 hours, the world's leading quantum physicists, astrobiologists, and cryptographers were assembled into a secure facility I cannot name, in a location I cannot disclose. We were instructed to decode it. We were instructed to understand its intent, and we were instructed above all else not to allow the public to panic. But here's what they didn't reveal to us. What they didn't reveal to anyone until it was too late. 3 Atlas isn't an object. It's a probe, and the signal it transmitted wasn't intended for us. It was intended for something already here. Let that settle in for a moment. We presumed we were alone. We presumed that if intelligent life existed, it would be light years distant, separated from us by the vast cold ocean of space. But what if that presumption was the lie we told ourselves to sleep at night? What if the galaxy has been observing us all along, waiting for us to achieve a certain threshold of technological advancement before making contact, or worse, before initiating containment? There's a concept in astrobiology called the Great Filter. It's a hypothesis that attempts to explain why in a universe teeming with billions of potentially habitable planets, we haven't encountered any other civilizations. The idea is simple but chilling. Somewhere between the emergence of life and the capability to colonize the stars, there exists a barrier, a filter that most species never pass through. Maybe it's nuclear war. Maybe it's climate collapse. Maybe it's artificial intelligence run amok. Or maybe, just maybe, the filter isn't something we inflict on ourselves. Maybe it's something that's inflicted upon us. I'm going to share something with you now that will sound like science fiction, but I assure you it is not. The decoded portions of the 3 Atlas transmission contain what can only be described as a galactic compliance protocol. It outlines in painstaking detail the conditions under which a species is permitted to continue existing beyond its home planet. And according to this protocol, humanity is currently in violation of multiple cosmic regulations. We have developed nuclear weapons. We have created artificial intelligence without safeguards. We have begun to manipulate genetic code. And most damningly, we have started broadcasting signals into space, announcing our presence to whatever might be listening. The transmission refers to Earth as a quarantined developmental zone. Think about that phrase. Quarantined. As if we are a disease that must be contained. As if our very existence poses a threat to the wider galactic community. And the signal transmitted by 3i Atlas, it wasn't a message to us. It was a status update, a notification dispatched to a network we didn't know existed, informing them that the quarantine has been breached, that we have reached the threshold. Then the signal ceased. 47 seconds of cosmic revelation, and then silence. But the object didn't cease. 3 Atlas continued its adjusted trajectory, moving with purpose, with intent, toward the inner solar system, toward us, and that's when the secondary anomaly was discovered. 3 days following the initial signal, observatories in Chile and Hawaii detected something emerging from the trajectory path of 3i Atlas. At first, we believed it was debris, fragments breaking off as the object heated up, approaching the sun. But debris doesn't move in formation. Debris doesn't emit low-frequency electromagnetic pulses. And debris certainly doesn't begin replicating. What we're witnessing now, what NASA and the European Space Agency are monitoring in real time, are smaller objects. Thousands of them, dispersing from 3i Atlas like seeds from a dying flower. Each one roughly the size of a school bus. Each one moving with independent propulsion, and each one heading toward Earth's orbital plane. They will arrive in approximately 90 days. I have spent sleepless nights conducting simulations, consulting with colleagues who are equally terrified and equally bound by secrecy. We have examined every possibility. Are these surveillance drones, terraforming instruments, biological sample collectors, or are they something far more direct than automated response to a species that has been identified as a potential threat? The data suggests all of the above, and that's what keeps me awake at night. The realization that we are not dealing with explorers or diplomats. We are dealing with a system, a galactic immune response, and we are the infection. But here's where it becomes even stranger, even more unsettling. Buried within the latter portions of the transmission, the parts we're still struggling to decode. There are references to something called the awareness event. It describes a moment in a species' evolution when collective consciousness reaches a critical threshold, when the boundary between individual minds begins to blur, when technology and biology merge into something new, something that the galaxy apparently monitors very, very carefully. And according to the timeline embedded in the signal, humanity is approaching that event right now, within the next decade, maybe sooner. The rapid advancement of artificial intelligence, brain-computer interfaces, quantum computing, genetic engineering, these aren't merely technological milestones, they're evolutionary triggers. And the galaxy has witnessed this before many times in many species, and it has protocols in place to address it. I keep contemplating the Fermi paradox. Where is everybody? If the universe is so vast, so old, so full of potential, why haven't we encountered anyone? Maybe the answer is staring us in the face. Maybe we haven't encountered anyone because species that reach our level of development either destroy themselves or they're destroyed. Maybe the cosmos isn't empty. Maybe it's carefully curated. Maybe there are gardeners out there pruning the branches that grow too wild, too fast, too dangerous. There's something deeply humbling, almost spiritual about confronting your own insignificance on a galactic scale. For centuries, we believed we were the center of creation. Then we discovered we orbit the sun. Then we discovered our sun is one of billions. Then we discovered our galaxy is one of trillions. And now we're discovering that even our existence might be conditional, that we live or die based on criteria established by minds we cannot comprehend, following rules we never agreed to. But there's also something defiant rising in me, something human. We didn't ask to be born into a universe with invisible wardens. We didn't ask to be evaluated by standards we were never informed about. And yet, here we are, conscious, curious, creative, flawed, yes, violent, yes, but also capable of extraordinary beauty and compassion. If the galaxy wants to erase us for daring to reach beyond our cradle, then let them attempt. But they should know we will not go quietly. We will not accept extinction without asking why. We will demand to be heard. The objects from 3i Atlas are approaching in 90 days. Give or take, they will enter Earth's atmosphere. Governments around the world are quietly preparing. Military installations are being retrofitted with directed energy weapons. Contingency plans are being drafted. Bunkers are being stocked. But no one is informing the public, because, frankly, what would we even say? How do you inform 8 billion people that we've been living under cosmic surveillance and the bill has finally come due? I think about my students. I think about my children. I think about every person who has ever looked up at the stars and felt wonder instead of fear. And I wonder if that wonder was ever justified or if we were always just children playing in a yard, unaware of the fence surrounding us, unaware of what lies beyond. The final decoded fragment of the 3i Atlas transmission contains something unexpected. A choice. It outlined 2 pathways for humanity. The first, voluntary limitation. We halt all interstellar communication. We dismantle our most dangerous technologies. We accept our place as a developing species under galactic supervision. We live, but we live small. The second pathway was less clear. obscured by encryption, we haven't cracked yet. But the little we could extract suggests it involves something called integration. Merging of human consciousness with a larger galactic network. A sacrifice of individuality for survival. A trade we may not be ready to make. But here's the terrifying part. The choice isn't ours. The transmission makes it clear that our response time has already elapsed. Whatever's approaching in 90 days, it's not a negotiation. It's an implementation. The decision has been made for us, by us. Through every action we've taken as a species up until this moment, we are living with the consequences of choices made by scientists, leaders, and dreamers who never imagined their inventions would summon judgment from the stars. I want to believe there's hope. I want to believe that somewhere in the decoded data there's a loophole, a way to demonstrate we're worth keeping around. Maybe that's why I'm telling you this. Maybe that's why I'm risking everything to speak openly about what I've witnessed. Because if we're going to face whatever comes next, we should face it together. Awake, aware, and unafraid. Follow this channel as we continue decoding the universe's final warnings. As we track the approach of these objects, as we search for answers in the spaces between the data, because if this is truly the end, then we deserve to see it coming. And if it's not the end, if there's still a chance, then we need every mind, every voice, every perspective working together to discover it. So, I'll leave you with this question, the one that has haunted me every night since I first witnessed the transmission. If the galaxy has been watching us, judging us, preparing to intervene, what do you think they see when they look at humanity? Are we a threat to be neutralized or a potential to be nurtured? Are we a disease or are we a miracle? And more importantly, what will we choose to be in the 90 days we have left? Comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you've seen. Tell me if you still believe we're alone. Because I don't anymore, and I don't think I ever will.